a lot of people end up in that space where you have more than you know what to do with. You have too many books inside you. And the question is, which one of these do I do first?
Hmm.
It's better to choose anything than choose nothing and just be paralyzed and not do something. So that's always my first recommendation is if you can't choose, just choose one and go with it. And if it doesn't work out, you can always pivot and switch over to another one. But if we're really trying to narrow it down and choose the right one, it really depends on what your goal is. If your goal is, I want to get more speaking gigs or consulting or coaching, training jobs, then there might be one of those topics that is the one that draws people in, that hooks people. And it might not be the one that you feel like people get the most benefit from, but it might be the one that hooks people and draws them in
Hmm.
to begin with.
Yeah.
And then once you have them hooked and drawn in, well, then you can write your second book that is the one that you feel like really changes people the most. But it's really about the hook, because if you don't hook people, then you don't get the job and you never have a chance to really get them more in depth with the stuff that's more life-changing for them. Is there one that stands out that way as being kind of the one that really hooks people and gets them interested?
Yeah, so the two that are the most high demand is the one is the five habits of resilient leaders. They want to build their resiliency. So I give them a very clear framework that here's the drivers of it so that you
Mm-hmm.
can survive in a constantly changing world when you're burned out and you want to find your joy in work. So resilient leadership is the one. And the other one is the antidote to time management. Everybody has these time management hacks that are not working and they are just going faster on the hamster wheel. So I have antidotes to that and totally think differently about managing your time and energy. Those are the two, but those are practical. The one that to me is way more valuable is the inside out leadership, leading yourself first. But that's what comes after we have these conversations. Then they understand that that's the value. So I don't think that's the hook. That's just what I see as more valuable. So the first two, I think, are the ones that people will call me for first.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Uh, as soon as you said five, sorry, how did you put it? The five things
The
resilient
five
people,
habits of resilient
five
leaders.
habits of resilient people. Okay, that made me think of this Forbes article here. This is the most popular Forbes article ever on the Forbes website. And it's all because of the title. Articles aren't necessarily popular because of the article. They're popular because the title hooks people and draws them in. And when you said the five habits of resilient people, it made me think of this. And so there's a similarity there, right? You're on to
Mhm.
something that people care a lot about. This actually was written by a friend of mine, and it in the first year it got something like 10 million views on this article or something. They've never had an article be anywhere close to this successful on the Forbes website. And then the subject of it, Amy Morin, she actually ended up writing a book called this, and it became a best-selling book. So it's definitely a topic that people are very keyed into, and I can see why that would be a great hook for you. So, and that's a great book title. The five habits of, if you did the five habits of highly resilient people, that would be a little bit too much like seven habits, right? But
Yeah, and it feels too much like plagiarizing the very, very big famous Covey one.
yeah,
So I thought you can change it, but it actually is. These are five factors that you build this into your practice. It will change the way you lead. And I'm really focused on leaders, not on just people in general. So,
yeah. Yeah, there are ways you could tweak that wordsmithing a bit to make it not sound so much like seven habits. I mean, yeah, the five factors of highly resilient people, or the five factors of resilient leaders, or something like that. Um, he was really onto something with that seven habits title, though. It's very catchy. Um, but that sounds like a great one to hook people.